So hi, we're meeting with Joanne to talk about food labeling and why it's important or not. Joanne?
Hi, my name is Joanna Sable, and I am a cordon bleu chef and also a consultant for the food industry. I am also at this time helping to procure food for the hungry and the homeless.
Thank you. So let's get into the conversation. So what do you think about best before dates, sell-by dates, all those type of dates?
Well, obviously, I feel very strongly about them, and most of my feelings are very negative. Let's start with all those kinds of dates. So I'll give you a few examples of the things that I find difficult. When you're at grocery level, if you have a product that's in a jar and it is under the best before date. So the best before date is February and it's 6 months before that, that product can be demanded by the store to be pulled off the shelves because there isn't enough time to sell that product. Now we're talking about 8-ounce, 12-ounce jars. We're in a grocery store level. We're not talking industrial sizing, and they'll pull off perfectly good product for that time, which I think is obscene. That product then either has to be destroyed, or if we're lucky enough, we get it before it gets destroyed and we give it to people in their homes. So that's, a big deal. Along with that comes even the best before date itself. So the best before date is a bit antiquated in that I believe in the early 50s, it was formed between a coalition between the governments and grocery to move product through grocery stores. So again, the idea was if we put a best before date, then product needs to go in the garbage. We then have to sell more, we then have to manufacture more product, sell more product. And if you look at the taxation levels and how the government would profit through that, plus grocery and business, it's really the consumers that will pay the brunt of that negligence. Back in that time, we didn't really understand just how crazy garbage would become in the next 50 some odd years. And with that, you look at now as our populations are just increasing to a crazy level, these dates make zero sense. My mother owns a gourmet food company called Sable and Rosenfeld Foods. She packages purely vegan product. This vegan product will not go bad in the next 20 years. The colors will not fade in the next 20 years, but the product has a shelf life of 3 years. And it really makes no sense. So you look at those angles on best before. Then you see things like bakeries who will have bread that they will sell for $7 a loaf, very fancy bakeries. That night, they bake them fresh that morning. That night, they put them into the freezer, which makes them still fresh. But unless somebody like me or somebody comes and gets them, then those breads go in the garbage, or they try to use as much as they can, but it's a lot of bread. So that's, another example. I hope that answers the question.
Yeah, so what you're saying, it's best before dates or type of dates, mostly it's for quality, but not then the produce is dead by the crossing of that date.
It's a perception. So what that best before date does, and people also misread what the word best before date means. Best before simply means that in the minds of government, it is the highest 100% that it will be. And after that date, by 5 minutes at midnight, that product is no longer at its height of perfection.
Yeah.
So it's a very screwy thing. And again, when you look backwards to where our families were, they didn't put eggs in the fridge because they didn't wash them. They didn't need to do the things that we do to destroy food from the beginning. Sorry about that. So these are also very important, like the nonsense of it is people look at their milk, and we all do this. Even I've done it. You look at the milk and you go, oh, it's April. I need milk that goes till May 15th. Now, why? You're going to drink that milk in 4 days, a week. It's not going to ever make it for a month and a half, but yet we look for the farthest date away possible.
Yeah.
It makes no sense. So, they've psychologically gotten us to do things that we shouldn't be doing.
Yeah. What roles these type of dates play in the organization you support?
Well, they've been very helpful in that the fact is that we end up getting quality product because it is quite perfect when this best before date comes up and we end up getting it. What I always suggest to people who, let's say, have more fresh stuff, like let's call it fresh meats, fresh fish, freeze them. And then the product is incredibly safe. Sorry, boys, stop. So, you know, that's also is the perception is you can buy, when I see meat at the grocery store and it says 20% off, 30% off, I grab it. I don't care what in God's name it is. I'll chuck it in the freezer and it will be absolutely delicious in what I make it with. And I've just gotten a good deal on something.
Yes.
So, you know, looking at a lot of that also is important. But the thing now that's happened that's creepy crazy is all the grocery stores have now gotten together and they're now, which is a joke to me, they're now selling product that has met its best before date, after its best before date, for half the price. So what that now does is people who are looking for bargains, and I hope the people who are looking for bargains really need them, but the true hungry people of Toronto are no longer getting as much because the grocery stores have figured out a way to, you know, economize on this product.
I see. Yeah. So freezing is a good option when you have something that you are not going to consume, not even passing birthday, something that you know that you are going to consume because you have 2 of them or you have 4 or
exactly. Something was a great deal.
And exactly, like a great deal, freeze it and then just pull it out whenever you need it and you're good for it.
Yeah, and even if you have, you know, a half container of yogurt or some milk and you're just not sure you're going to, or you're going on vacation or whatever, chuck it in the freezer. You may not want to drink that product, but you can certainly, and it is drinkable, but you may want to cook with it after that, at that point. You know, cheese that you've put in the freezer isn't delicious to thaw and cut and eat like on a cracker, but oh man, it makes a fine mac and cheese.
Yes, freezing change some properties of things. That's true.
Exactly, but it doesn't mean that it's not edible. It just means you simply have to work with it and use your mind to figure things out.
All right. And what the organization support do with best before days items? How they handle it? Do they distribute it, or they have to put like a sticker saying like this is past before date, or how that works?
No, so there's 2 ways that obviously that we work with it. One is you do it into food boxes. So if it's a manageable size, we can put it into food boxes, or people can often come shopping into the shelters or the different places that food is, you know, food banks, etc. And they can come shopping for product. The second way is we can cook with that product. So if it's a larger size, or if it's something that's opened and safe, like for example, George Brown gives us a lot. If they're baking that week and they have a million little spices, then we will use those spices to cook with or something like that. So, you know, depending on the product, but you have to keep in mind when people get this stuff, they can't save it. They're hungry. They need to eat. So it's never a concern that they're going to land it on a shelf somewhere and, you know, and deal with it that way. And we also obviously always make sure that product is 100% acceptable. We've had it where we've had to turn product down and say, this is just not acceptable for anybody to eat. It's a shame you didn't give it to us a week ago or something of that nature.
Yeah.
So, you know, I mean, you have to be smart. You have to be discerning. Most of the people in this industry do care that other people, God forbid, aren't going to get sick off things.
Of course. Well, thank you very much for these little conversations. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome. I will talk to you later.
Okay.
Okay, bye.